Welcome, everybody. We are back live from the Hyatt in downtown Port of Spain. It's actually a very beautiful day here in Trinidad and Tobago, sunshine and blue skies. And our conference here, we're in day 2, where the focus falls on natural gas in particular. And also, as you would have been witnessing, we've had the Minister of Energy and Energy Industries with the keynote address this morning. As the day has unfolded, we've closed off just before what is the lunch break here with a very special challenge in which 20 presentations were made to the chamber, focusing on innovation and other aspects of developing the energy transition, other projects related to greener energy. And it was whittled down to 5. And the winner, as you would have seen, was in fact Nugen's presentation. I'm really delighted to have the chairman of Nugen with me here to speak to you a little bit more about many of his projects. Philip Julien, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Francesca.
Congratulations. It's a really good start. You signed yesterday, and then your presentation won today about Nugen. And of course, the name Nugen has been on the tip of, we've had representatives here from NGC, and you're listed among the green projects that are sort of signaling this new phase in Trinidad and Tobago's development in the energy sector. Tell us all about Nugen, please.
Well, it's just a delight to be here with you, Francesca.
Thank you.
And this energy conference has been extraordinary for Nugen. It was launched here two years ago, and we spent 2 years developing the project up to where it is now. And over the course of those 2 years, this whole advent of low carbon green hydrogen has swept the world. And it's just wonderful that we're at a place as a country where we have been developing the Nugen project up to the point where it is now, where I'm pleased to say a couple of months ago, we were successful in having an international entity known as HDF Energy, Hydrogen de France, become a 70% shareholder in Nugen, which will now galvanize us to the next level of realizing this 20,000 ton per year low carbon hydrogen facility for Point Lisas.
How is that going to connect with existing infrastructure in Point Lisas and other projects that are ongoing there with respect to
so the
emissions?
The beauty of it, Francesca, is the hydrogen that we would generate would be provided to one of the existing ammonia plants. All the ammonia plants in Trinidad and methanol and the world extract their hydrogen from natural gas, a fossil fuel. What we are developing is a source of hydrogen from fossil-free sources, such as water and carbon neutral electricity, that will then generate this low carbon hydrogen stream that we intend to provide to Tringen. Literally, we would be located geographically right next door to the Tringen facility. So that's the answer. We are going to be co-located next to Tringen and providing them with the hydrogen that we generate.
What kind of time frame are we looking at? You've had your 70% investment from your French partners.
Yes.
And what next?
So what next? The key next step on the technical front is to finalize the key technology provider. That's the electrolyzer. We've done international assessment of the providers. We've whittled it down to a few. And now we're giving HDF Energy some time to review and assess, because they have a tremendous wealth of experience in that space as well. So giving that some time, it'll allow us to finalize the overall design basis. We'd like to start accelerating what's known as FEED towards the latter part of this year. And hand in hand with that would be developing the key commercial arrangements that would be required to get us to that point of final investment decision.
And what will the direct benefits be to Trinidad and Tobago? You've spoken about the connectivity with our existing ammonia infrastructure and the further sales for your hydrogen project and product. But in terms of everyday lives and citizens in Trinidad and Tobago, this is a green initiative And how is that actually translating into something which a citizen could grasp, understand, and feel the impact of the benefit?
So I mean, there's so many ways to answer that. I mean, how much time do you have? In terms of the benefits of the project, I could talk to, but let me answer your question directly. You know, at the end of the day, the success of Trinidad and Tobago in our petrochemical and energy sector for such a tiny island has given us that dubious honor of being one of the top carbon dioxide emitters per person. Projects like NewGen, which are scheduled to take about 200,000 tons of carbon dioxide per year off the face of the earth, that's something as an individual citizen can walk around saying, well, my carbon footprint is now that much smaller.
Reduced.
Yeah, and so that's one. The other thing is from an economic perspective, I mentioned we're providing hydrogen to Point Lisas. Now, Point Lisas is short of hydrogen in the order of 400,000 tons per year. You just hear about it as natural gas. So we're taking one small step towards filling that gap on a carbon-free basis. And I would say be a trendsetter to enable other such projects to come to help fill that remaining gap. So those are there's the environmental benefit and the economic benefit, I think, at the top of the list.
We know that as the green transition evolves, countries that maintain too high a carbon footprint, especially countries like ours that have an oil and gas economy, may face penalties and taxes and so on. Describe how this project will strengthen the national economy as well, in addition to the individual with the lower footprint of emissions.
I mean, you're absolutely right. The world is calling for greener products, greener commodities, greener petrochemical commodities, such as green ammonia, green methanol. As you said, they will either attract a premium and or if you don't provide it, will attract carbon tax, the typical everyday gray ammonia, gray methanol. So what that means for us overall is that it's making our petrochemical economy relevant to this green wave that the world is embracing, and allowing us to, for in the Trinidad case, have them supplement some of their gray ammonia's generation with low carbon and green ammonia generation. So that's the most direct impact that I could point to.
Now, in terms of your company, you're the chair. It puts you and positions your company very much at the front line of larger investment projects in the green transition. If you had to look ahead 10 years, what is the Point Lisas you would like to see? What is the petrochemical industry? How would you like to see it change between now and then? You are at the front line, so obviously you will be not want to in that time period be, you know, the giant that sits in Point Lisas, but what would you like to see as a sort of cluster of industries around your project?
Well, I think first and foremost, I think the beauty of Point Lisas is it's already poised to make that material change with the addition of, I call it, you know, a battery of hydrogen, low carbon hydrogen production facilities. So 10 years from now, I would love to see that gap filled with low carbon hydrogen, flotilla of electrolyzers generating low carbon hydrogen, and very importantly, a large input of renewable energy, either directly generated by or on Trinidad or off Trinidad shores in wind or solar, but quite possibly looking regionally, and this is the area that Kenesday Green is looking at. Is there the possibility of importing green electrons from other parts of the Caribbean that have a surplus potential of renewable energy?
Let's just stop a minute there on Kenesday Green. Tell us the connection and how the current project, NewGen, is tying in with the original company, Kenesday Green, as a sort of strategy coming out of Kenesday.
For sure, for sure. So Kenesday Systems is the founding company that my father, Professor Julien, started 25 years ago. When I took the helm over a few years ago, we created this Kenesday Green entity, which is a similar focus, but except it's on green decarbonizing projects for the future of the region. Uh, and that's part of that big picture. So being part of that flotilla of electrolyzers, creating the value proposition, developing the project, attracting the investment, and equally importantly, developing that feedstock of green energy supply, both to Trinidad, but it also serves, Francesca, as an enabler for those other islands who have been sitting on a large potential of renewable energy, but never had a market for it. You know, case in point, Dominica. And this is what Kenesday Green as a project developer is looking at. NewGen is the manifestation of a hydrogen generation project, but Kenesday Green is in the process of developing a pipeline of green projects. And Dominic is a great example. You know, we're working with them. They're sitting on 1.3 gigawatts of renewable energy from geothermal that they've never been able to untap. Now,
harness.
yeah, now there's the possibility to explore of untapping it to feed the region with renewable energy and also feed themselves and generate their own green hydrogen economy, which is so exciting.
Dominic has long pitched itself as a sort of super green, lush, the rivers, the forests. So
yes.
it would fit right in with their national philosophy and identity as a nation.
And energy security, energy independence, it fits beautifully in. And they approached us. We signed this MOU with them at COP26. They are so passionate and their leadership is so committed to this that the developments that are going on there is moving at breakneck speed.
So just before we say goodbye, let's go back to COP26. I really enjoyed seeing you do your live broadcasts on, was it Facebook or Instagram? I can't remember.
I left that to the experts.
But you were reporting from the venue, and which was very interesting because there were not too many voices of our own speaking and making that connection for us in Trinidad with just, you know, how intense, if you will, the world lobby is among both citizens and nationalities for a greener world. What were your direct impressions of the event? And do you feel we need to increase our connectivity from Trinidad, from people within the industry, and I imagine journalism as well? And I mean, how disconnected are we? How much more connected should we be? You were there. You can give us a sense of what you experienced.
So I mean, I was in awe. I think it was one of those life-changing moments where I realized that there was a genuine commitment from world leaders, not just talk, but commitment to action that manifested on the COP floor. I think our Prime Minister represented admirably, and to his credit, he said he was committed to facilitating green hydrogen investments in Trinidad and Tobago, and here we are.
Yeah.
I do say in that same vein that I mentioned earlier about the relative amount of carbon dioxide that we give off, you know, as an island, I think we stand to be a wonderful beacon of change.
And the transformation.
Yeah, I think there's a huge role for Trinidad and Tobago to say, look, we mastered the art way ahead of our time and this energy, and now we're getting ahead of it once again. And here's our story. So yes, Francesca, I think Trinidad and Tobago should be represented with that positive narrative to tell as we start to deliver on the green hydrogen transition that we talked about.
It's really been a pleasure to hear more about your projects and the wider view you have of the region and the potential it can bring in tandem with what you are doing at Point Lisa soon and other partners joining you, and of course the opportunity that exists for investment and diversification of energy approaches. Thank you so much for joining us. And we'll see you soon again. Thank you very much. That's Philip Julien, who is the chair of Kenesday Green and of course the chairman as well of NewGen, which was officially signed yesterday here at the Energy Conference. And you would have been hearing a lot as well about the NewGen initiative. We'll be back right after this.